Awo ya you. You will lay a desire. Then I'd wear that power. President Gay, via yet to get this again. I say, oh, me, I'm right. And by doing you, I'm a quartet of my trade there. Well, on it goes away. Alas, I go that Giano, and we say you. Papa Mora, get you up with anywhere, Momba Sivole. Sivole. L'arrangeur parmi national, très trop fort. Puis à club, mais on va essayer de sauver des joueurs. À moi, ça y est. Déabio. Doa, blé, you pas pour mon yao. Papa, y'a guitare. Petit, l'oiseau fait son nid. Kaidaka. Ben na paya posa gogo mambo panjago Apoblo akafoi Wa posa nyoka foi Be afonte mo bandi yo pa kle yukiyen Nyanjo si mwen Posto kata tuyo pe atinyo di won Emo o Nesse tokan Is a poco where they have it. Go on, yeah, I can't salute. What's to a cat tree of where I think on the one? Emo, Nessetoka. Now, with is a poco where they have it. Go on, yeah, can you get? Now, conquering your bed when I know sound fairly on it. I do. Let's do what you just grab it to work on. Say your book on ya. Are you an owl? Typo that Giano, and now we say you over. I want to look like I need a boy. And yes, I'm going to buy them when we get. Hey, Imo, the gay, one of what I want, I guess me, I'm done, and it the boy. Oh, ow. Bobo that Giano and now we say you will. So like it, I'm going to never go. Netoni and Rayo. Hey, are you? Oh, but just say, oh, yeah, I'm a walking ever. Kaidaka, when it goes to work, I'm going to let you know your way. I just know. This is what I say. Say, Bobo, yeah. You like do I name one by one name on tele by Botamu, Tanyada. Planning Papa, Pinagasia, Baka on Lage, the Pussy, the PSC, baby. There's no yes, you can up one. There was a Bob was a dressy, Mango, Balibo, Dagiano, and I will say you over. I will. Saibo. Back to a black guy, do it so say. I just want to lay a back to an hour, you see you okay. Wait, you, Ivo, Saibo, and they get pop and block where John Banglo on the green, I walk like a bad day, Benoit. It was a was so now when you're naturally stand, let me slay. Bobo that Giano and I will say you over. I'm done in it. Where are you? So on my way. I know Brazil. Can't play a gospel. South Africa, your part, your way. Thank you for your work and my one. I'm the Pope and Yaguba. Don't feel it. I say, oh, Clavodio. Say, back in where we are coming. Say, Bobo that Giano and I will say you over. Aba pepo swelu ninde swelu Kwa muzelu manje dota siko bala Kabo nyuwase Pepo swelu muzo luke Say yari ase Panye ino Gen mwande ye Nyop mample yote mwande ya nao Ari wo ase o Panye Amo amora da o Saibo deki ano ana wisi eyiwo. Agbeso rulo di yo manye. So pelu ni we. Saibo ba. Saibo deki ano ana wisi eyiwo de. Mo pop man down le melu. Rita ni o we do seru. Manye no ase o. Ise mayo. That was the yasi also wonbo panye. Amora jinola se.
Ouais, il a fait une chanson à Mobile Production, voilà. Et Mobile Production, c'est une structure qui est créée pour les jeunes qui sont dans le guémon, pour les jeunes de l'US tout. Mobile Production est là pour produire les jeunes talentueux, cachés, que les gens ignorent. Donc notre devoir, c'est de produire des talents cachés. Alors, il a fait un son pour Mobile Production.
Arrangé Eric Lodé, le don de Dieu pour la musique de l'Ouest. Je te détesterai jamais, jamais, au grand jamais. Mon bien production, Abia Dia Oboa, Amounia Dron, moi et toi Pierre. Moye, Pierre, moye, Pierre, moye, à toi Pierre qui a volé, Pierre, moye, ah Pierre, oui. To Pierre se prononcer de a to Pierre qui a fait ma crosse o moye Pierre moye mo sa bo sa iko moye Pierre qui m'a wéré manoye mo a Pierre qui m'a wéré manoye mo Pierre we ha qui a wéré Pierre moye to Pierre moye Pierre moye Robero qui a fait ba, la poche qui a fait. So non du niemble, mon blé amado blé s'appelé. J'ai mon équipe à yonner, ma wadia qui va yonner, j'ai blé bonnet na kanyopo. Si à vous tiens de kanyoé, kanyon de code, c'est pas du blé. Pierre moye, Pierre moye, Pierre moye, Ogarwa, Oyawesa, moye, Jibla, Opion Boba, Yerbono, ma boye blé, Pierre moye, mon blé production. Au Pierre, mon blé production, à ça au clan. Yahweh, Pierre moye. Pierre moye, a to Pierre moye. Die na pa yeble, to Pierre die na pa yeble. Ah, nie, Pierre we, ah Pierre we, moye, Pierre moye. Erico ja to Pierre we, moye. Mare bomu ja to Pierre we, Erico de bomu ja to Pierre we. Mi ọmọ daka, lójó ní kò yẹ ẹyin owó pa, ọ̀pọ̀ ọ̀bẹ yéde yẹn ní ìbílẹ̀ ìgbà kìjẹ, ṣíà ó anáde kọ́ ajabẹ̀ àtìyà, nyòrò ọ̀gbàdé kì abúdí yẹ, ọ̀nà ọ̀mọ́nà ní kì àdúgbò yẹ, ṣùgbọ́n sọmọ sọ̀blẹ̀ sọ̀ ọ̀dà yàn, pàṣẹblẹ̀ àṣẹyàn dàyé ta ẹ̀sà ayé dìbò sàlẹ̀ ètò Pierre jàwé kẹ, tó Pierre pọ̀ ń sanwó kẹ, tó Pierre ìwà mọ́pa. Kaya no e ka seni la taya mo la osiane. To ki agba ere papa ko. Kia o a to Pierre moye. Ah, tu agba mo e. Dibe ko agba mo e. Ah, o lu agba mo e. Pierre we. Ah, Pierre lu agba mo e. Pierre we. Ah, Pierre mo moye. Moye o, Pierre mo moye. Gayo padà wẹ̀ mẹ́bù kan yìí. Gayo padà wẹ̀ mẹ́bù kan yìí. Ah, tidieji, ah, tidiewe. Ah, mara tidie me o, ah o. Bubakari to kwene to wa moye, 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 piero moye, moye, piero moye. Ese Sonia Routier, ase o. Mama Sableye, Angela Wene, ye bobo pangla wuye, Angela Wene, nama bobo pangla wuye, Angela Wene, Angela Dio, machapa ke yo, daria Dio. Moye, Angela moye. Mama mo kembla, yeah, mama kembla de way you. Ah, je sais ma Jackie, mama je sais Tania Kido. Handa Nicola, Memo Tia, Manda Nicola, Tania, Nicola Bleto Yamo, Ojuachi, Naipo de Wenge, Black la Chili Agia, Agia. Moye, Piero Moye, 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 Moye.
Okay, folks, Samson to LIBERIA Radio. I want to welcome all of you again tonight. We have with us here tonight, very shortly here, we will be here. I want to welcome all of you on LIBERIA Radio. We say thank you very much for joining us. It's going to be a very interesting subject matter here tonight. We got two shows. One is going to be with Mr. Victor Smith, who is the former IT Minister of Public Works. Stay in LIBERIA, he works in LIBERIA, doing good in LIBERIA, but he's visiting here, so I thought that I'd get him on here to see if he can talk to us about something. The reason why I invited Mr. Smith here tonight, because you know Blackpool, you know me. I put something up and he wrote a long piece disagreeing with me. What? So I said, come on, let my audience hear your show. Let them hear what you have to say. Be careful. He might take me to the cleaner here tonight. But I'm ready for him. But anyway, again, we want to thank you all. Thank you for tuning in to LIBERIA. We appreciate it. Those of you that have been joining us, we say thank you very much. It's going to be a very interesting show here again tonight. You know what is happening back home. So let us now invite Mr. Smith, who's going to be with us here this evening, as I stated already. And Mr. Smith, welcome on LIBERIA Public Radio. We appreciate you joining us here this evening. I know my program is kind of slow here, but I worked on it. But welcome on LIBERIA Public Radio. We want to thank you very much for joining us this evening. So just briefly, we know who you are, but just briefly introduce yourself so you and I can have this thing and let it be over with. I can't stand this.
Mr. To. Firstly, I want to thank you very much for the work you're doing by disseminating information on our country. I think you are doing a tremendous amount of work in this area of communication, because in the absence of information, people turn to assume. In the middle of assumption, sometimes people can take actions that can lead people into the wrong direction. So I want to thank you very much for the work you're doing, I know, for our country. And thank you again for welcoming me. Of course, by way of introduction, my name is Victor Smith. My name is a common name in Liberia, especially in the engineering sector. I've been in the country since 2010, working first as a consultant at the Ministry of Public Works. My specialty is structures, but with emphasis in bridge design, highway bridge design. I worked there for a while, and I became Deputy Minister for Technical Services. And later on, when Kofi Woods left, I acted for between 3 to 6 months as Minister for the institution. And in 2014, I asked the President to resign because I wanted to go into the private sector. So I'm in the private sector. I've established Alliance Consulting Engineers. It's a Liberian, 100% owned Liberian engineering firm. We're into design. We're into construction. It's a multi-functional or multi-talented institution that we do geotechnical, we do surveying, we do structures, and of course we do project management. I have my colleague, my partner, Baka Koli, and I have some young, very talented Liberian engineers that are working for us. One is Joseph Fala. So I know I don't mean to interrupt, but I think
the man who managed the affair of your company is watching right now. Mr. Arthur Smith is watching us, so he controls your salary. You better let us all know that.
Okay, that's fine. That is fine. That is beautiful. There,
Okay.
they can be here on Facebook to see what's happening.
Well, thank you.
I'm in the US. I have my family here. My son just got his BS in chemical engineering. I thought to spend some time with him because after 4 years, between 4 to 5 years of intensive study, I think I need to give you a tap on the back and spend some time with them.
Right.
So I'm here, and I'm also monitoring the situation in Liberia. I monitor your show, and I told you I strongly disagree with you, and I think you saw that when you said like that.
Right. Okay.
So I have no biases, as you say, but this is how I look at it because I know what the country is. So that's where I am.
All right. Okay. Thank you. But something else is going on that Samson told us. Okay. I think I cut that off now, hopefully, because of music in the background. But no, Mr. Smith, thank you very much. Folks, let us just be serious here for a minute. In the interest of fairness, Mr. Smith is a very, very good friend of mine. He's a brother, let's put it that way. This is the man after 37 years in America. This is the guy that...
Come on, that's not a plus for me, man. That's not a plus for me, bro. It's not a plus.
This is the guy that said, you've been here too long. Come home. When I went home the last time, I was with his firm, and we did what we could. And again, Mr. Smith, thank you very much. We appreciate it. But let's get on with this kumbaya stuff, and let's get on with this issue. The last time when I was on here, I was running my mouth, as usual, that the Liberian government and everyone else, it seemed to me, those that are in Liberia, and you're included because you work for the government, it seemed to me that the mother of the land, who is the former president, I don't believe that she had put in place structure, institutional structure, that will allow people, any other person that will come back after her, to be able to manage the affair properly. And the example has just been exhibited in the last week or so, and we're still on that. And I believe that these structures are not in place. As a result, we have people coming in, Dr. Weir and his people are coming in and then trying to find their way throughout. But when you wrote, you said not so. The structure are there. So, Mr. Smith, could you please expand on that here a little bit?
Yeah, I told you I fully disagree with you because intellectually we can put that into perspective. But what I was saying is that Liberia has a structure. The structure is in place, but what has happened is that the people who are supposed to implement or manage the structure are the ones that are circumventing the procedures and management of that structure. But it's a two-way thing. One is that if I'm at the free port of Monrovia, it means that before containers or anything leaves that free port, it means that there are specific pattern. There are specific pattern that has to be exhibited when it comes to signature and paper trail. That is there. But what has happened is that because these people that are working and the wealth of the country is not equally distributed, or merit system is not in place, so people try to circumvent the function of the structure or the structure itself to get their selfish aim accomplished. And in my letter, I told you that if I have a guy that is sitting at APN terminal is collecting $1 million United States dollars for Liberia on a monthly basis, there is a structure that he has to collect that the trailers go through to pay him that money. Now, this guy is being paid $500 for collecting $1 million. And to make matter worse, the $500, he doesn't get it until the next 3-4 months. Now, it's not that you support him to be corrupt, but the circumstances he finds himself in make him not to be able to keep up his integrity, and he falls victim. I don't care how strong you are. Sometimes you fall victim of these situations, but you have to catch yourself. And this doesn't negate the fact that there is no structure for that guy to follow. The structure is there, but its implementation is where we have the problem. Now, how do we solve this kind of problem?
Mr. Smith, before you go on to the solution, let me push you a little bit. This is Blaku, and I'm going to push you all the way here to the limit here tonight.
No. I hold my ground. I told you, I can guarantee I hold my ground.
Oh, I know that. Oh, I know that. I know that. I know who you are. I know who you are. So I'm not fooling myself when I say I'm going to push you. I know exactly who you are. But let's get this here. Now let's give my example that I'm going to give. I'm going to give it based on engineering perspective, from an engineering perspective, because I think both of us have that kind of knowledge and we understand that. Now let's just suppose I'm talking about structure. Okay, of the country, institutional structure that will be able to govern, that you use to be able to govern the country. I still go back to say that the former leadership for 12 years did not put in place structure that will allow people to come in and able to implement what is needed for the country to move forward. I'll give you an example, and let's go back into the engineering's point. You have a structure to put up. Now, two structures. One is AL, one is URF. So you deal with it. By the way, you have a tower to put up. And the tower, as I gave an example the other day, the tower that you have to put up requires some sort of restraint so that the tower don't go over. So you have these cables that will be anchored onto the soil itself. And the anchoring of the table, you have to do a calculation. And no calculation has to be balanced. Now, in the process of doing the calculation, Mr. Smith, if I'm wrong, please state so. Over the years, 100 years, 200 years, those type of calculation, the basic is there. That you as an engineer can come out and say, okay, this is what I have. What are the movements that I require? And you do all of your movement calculation. But the fundamental of coming up with movement calculation remains the same. In other words, if the people who over the years have continued to demonstrate, the ASHTO, all the other state engineering department that continue to demonstrate how you're supposed to do certain things for you to be able to achieve the end result that you're looking for, they were able to put in place a structure. If you put up that tower and do not follow the structure, because the structure is so rigid that if you do not follow your process of putting the tower up will not stand. So my argument is this. The mere fact that you're saying there's a structure, if that structure was strong and fundamentally strong with a solid foundation, the country, those who are there to implement whatever policy they have, as long as they miss one step of that policy with respect to the structure, the policy will not stand. So my argument to you again, Mr. Smith, is the fact that these things are not being done. The structure is, whether it's weak or not, for me, it's not there. Take it away.
No, but yeah, Mr. Tu, the fundamental issues about structure, right, of a tower, as you explained, those are things straightforward. But if there are procedures in making sure that these towers are anchored well into earth, right, and somebody goes there because of their own selfish reasons, right, decides to anchor the tower because they want to get something out of it for their personal reasons, it doesn't mean that the calculation or the structure for that particular phenomenon is not there still. It's the persons who implementing that calculation has circumvented the structure because they want to satisfy the personal gain. And that's what I'm talking about. It is, if I should tell me, say, this is what you should do, right? I need this kind of bearing capacity for which to enable me to anchor this thing. And because John Brown's supposed to, or let's take for instance, if you're going to anchor the guy wire, you need a certain strength of concrete, right? And if the guy say, okay, because I need 4,000 psi and I can carry 3,000 psi concrete for some time, the tower can hold, he carries the 3,000, other than what is specified. It doesn't mean that the fact doesn't exist that Ashra agreed that you must carry 4,000 psi. But the 1,000 psi, he has taken it to use it to his own personal gain. Again, I come back to the same thing. What is happening in our country and is that it is what we must do that for these key positions, right? Like where you have finances is being collected, you need to get people in those positions that has these fundamental things. Very competent. They must be placed on a bond. You call it insurance or what it is, okay? And they must be able to be protected from governmental interference in the function of the duties. Because if a minister of finance will write a letter to the tax collector at the Freeport and say, let this continue to come out, it doesn't mean the structure is not there, but he has short-circuited the whole system of getting the continue out by sending that letter. So he's involved, and that breeds corruption. And that breeds corruption. And all of the saga that we have about this money, if people were being paid the right thing and doing the right thing, merit system, and people being given what they deserve or what they work for, it would be difficult for somebody to really sway you to relieve the function of the structure or the structure itself. So what you can tell me is that the structure is in place. I must agree with you. You must agree with me on that. But yes, the functionality is what is lacking. Then I agree with you on that point because that's where people circumvent these issues. And go back to
this is Samson Toe. This is Samson Toe. I'm here with Mr. Victor Smith. Honorable Smith is here visiting, so I thought that I'd grab him to see how much I can get out of him. But I'm folks, let's get ready because I'm getting ready to push him as well. Mr. Smith, before we do that, is there a way that you can position the lighting so that people will clearly see your face? Yeah. If we can put, there we go. That's fine.
I'm a very dark person, so don't worry.
So am I. So
don't worry about that. I think what people should be interested is not seeing my face, but seeing what I'm propounding as a Liberian.
Oh my
God! As a Liberian.
You're ready to take me to clinic again. Oh,
and let's say this, I do business in Liberia, and when I tell people that, look, the issue of Liberia is not all politics. Because if the politics is not in place, it means I don't have an enabling environment to function as a business person. I'm doing engineering business, right? I provide services. But if the political system is not good, it means I can function, right?
That's right.
So that's what I'm saying. So what may, we as Liberians in every sector of life, we have to contribute, and that's what I'm doing.
So, Mr. Smith, before I talk about the engineering group in Liberia and what they're doing and what have you, what do you make of this? But before I do that, let me throw you off here a little bit. Mr. Smith, I'm Samson Toe from Toe Town, Grand Jide County. You were once acting minister of public works of the Republic of Liberia. Mr. Smith, why is it up to this point that when Samson Toe is getting ready to go to Toe Town, he can't go because the roads are bad? What happened? You were once the leader. What happened? Why the public works minister was unable, and he's still not able to produce those kinds of fine road for all of us? Where were you, Mr. Smith, when they built that road from Kakata to Morea to Kakata that is still devastating our people with accident, what have you? It's completely not standard. What happened? Can you explain to us, sir?
Yeah, I can try to give you, because that particular project I made it on, so but I can take the responsibility of some of it. Now, first, let's look at for the infrastructure of Liberia. Over the years, we have not put in place, right? Perhaps when I was not an engineer, or maybe those guys, and I gave credit to them, Gabriel Toko and the guys who came before us, they did their part. But when I got onto the scene of public works, we did work because we did look at the whole network of Liberia, the road network, and then came up with an estimate of $2 billion, right? To really get the infrastructure, both roads, which the linear structure and the vertical structure, we were talking about almost $2 billion. So in 2013, a visit was constituted by the then president of Liberia, Ms. Ellen Johnson Sirleaf, headed by Mr. Amar Kone, was then the finance minister. And we did a road trip. We went to India, and then we went to China. And one of the ideas that have been propounded, and that which the BIA government has taken on, is that can we use some of our resources to leverage against the money that we want to get from one of these international communities, so that we can build and develop our infrastructure. The first group that really jumped to the idea was the Chinese. And of course, we went to China, we visited them. There were some negotiations that have started. So this whole thing about the leverage of resources against infrastructure is not new. It's not an idea that was birthed by the WIA government. This came from the Ellen Johnson Sirleaf in the government. But the issue was that, hey, if we need this amount of money and we need to use our natural resources to get this $2 billion from China Exim Bank, it means we must know the value of the minerals we have, the quantity of the mineral, the quality of the minerals we have. And previous studies has been going on by the American Geological Service. So the next phase was that, okay, if we want to do this, we need to quantify these minerals. And once we quantify it and say it's $50 billion, then we say, okay, we will be able to give you to sanction $2 billion of this amount against what you will give us. Right there and then, the Chinese government was getting ready to give us, right off the back, $1 billion. But I don't know how far that negotiation went. That would be able to save us from this problem we have, the dilemma we have with the development of infrastructure. We also work on the MCC project. I was also one of the architects that worked on the MCC project, representing public works. We also visited the MCC office in the Washington, D.C. and made presentation. The $200 and some billion was given to Liberia. 25% of that money supposed to go to developing, maintenance centers and all those kind of things. Those systems are in place. That's why I keep telling you the structure. It's just the implementation. Now, coming to the World Bank project from Monrovia to Banga to the Guinea border or Kanta. That project was developed in this fashion, that from Monrovia to Banga is a 10 years project. 10 years mean that 3 years we want to go for construction, right? And the remaining 7 years would be for maintenance. And in the 8th year of that program, the road will be overlaid. But this is what happened in the construction of Banga to Monrovia to Banga. They kept the original alignment.
Yeah, that's my point.
Yes, they kept the original alignment. Even some of the bridges that are on the road, right? They are functionally, they are functionally obsolete. Mm-hmm. It means that you come from a roadway that is 24 feet, that 22 feet in lane, 11, and then you squeeze into something that is like 18 feet in weight. So it's absolute. Function is absolute.
Right.
But they did not do any. They did not change those structures. They just kept the original alignment. We had another problem. If you pass 15 gate.
But Mr. Smith, before
but
you
I come now.
Yeah.
Let me come to the issue. Let me give you the issue.
I want to question you on the engineering aspect of what you just stated. You guys are not, most of you, all of you, including the current minister, all of you are all master degree holder in engineering, so there's no question about it. Now, you're telling me that the bridge that you're supposed to come out of for 24, 12, 12, because nowadays at 12, they don't do 11 anymore. 11 is when you're doing construction. So 12, 12. So coming out of a 12 to 18, from 24 to 18. So forget about shoulder. We're not even going to talk about shoulder. How do you come up with that kinds of alignment that you're going to taper from a 24? How far do you go back from the 24 to come to the 18? Number one, I don't want you to answer that. Let's forget that, because that's something I don't even want to talk about. But the fact that you have a bridge, why didn't you guys just say, you know what? We know we want the money, we like the money, but let's build the bridge according to standard. Why you left a bridge that was built in the 50? You went and used the C alignment that Tommy Bonan died on back in the 70. The alignment is still there, has not changed. The curve have not changed. So what exactly you guys did? That's I'm supposed to be cheering you now, Mr.
No, listen. The bridge at Nyafola between Bond County and Margibi County, that bridge was built to standard. Okay. Why? Because it was completely taken down. Now, the Liberian government, with the money coming from the World Bank, was this amount of money. All right. So people, the designers, were constrained. What do we do? Do we take all of the bridge out of operation, put in new bridges, or do we work with what we have that was destroyed? So at that time, the best was, okay, if we keep the money, we can pay more, we can do more work. So in that corridor, there were 2 new bridges that were built. And if you look at them, those bridges were built to current Astro standards. One is before you get to Konola. Konola, it means the width of the lane was equal to the width of the bridge. Okay? But those bridges that I want were next right to where you get to, before you get to what the place is, and there's a major intersection, right?
I can't help you. I left that place.
I know. That particular bridge was left in place. In fact, when you talk about before you get to Bonard Curve, or right after Bonard Curve, there's another bridge there too that was left in place. It's not that we did not know that these things were hazard, but the financial position constrained us. And other people may argue, hey, you should have done it the right way. Okay, so now what has happened is that we have established the road fund. The road fund has come into place because that's one of the things that I work on at the Ministry of Public Works. Now the funding, it means that certain percentage is levied against the gas usage in Liberia. If that money comes in, we can go back there now and correct those breaches and widen them. So these are things that we were looking into the future that can happen under this regime.
Okay.
So it's not right.
Okay, folks, this is Samson to LIBERIA Public Radio. My guest this evening, Mr. Victor Smith, who is the president of the Alliance Association over there in Liberia. They've been doing a wonderful, wonderful job. I was there. I saw some of their work. In fact, Mr. Smith and we used to go out at night and pour concrete. I work hard. I work real hard. I didn't sleep. I was working.
I had to make it to
work. But anyway, that's another subject matter. But Mr. Smith is here this evening. He's a good friend of mine.
providing us some information. Mr. Smith, let me ask you that quite recently, Liberia Public Radio had the current minister, Mr. Nyipan. Mr. Nyipan was here, and the question was, how is he with respect to Liberian businesses and things like that? And he quite frankly told us that they have been providing a lot of contract to Liberian businesses, and in fact, he was encouraging Liberian engineers and Liberian businesses to come home because there's a lot of work over there in Liberia. The question I want to ask from you is, how much work do you get from public work? I know you're a contractor, engineer, designer, and things. Do you get a lot of work from public work for which they're asking us to some of us to come home and establish another one?
Personally, from the standpoint of my institution, we do not get work directly from the Ministry of Public Works. We get work through the supporting agencies that are assigned to public works. One of them is the World Bank. We get a lot of work from the World Bank. USAID, we get a lot of work from USAID because they're into feeder roles. The African Development Bank also into feeder roles. We get some work from them also. So since I left public works, we haven't got any work directly from the ministry itself, but we have gotten work from the institution that are supporting public works. So in that vein, I say yes, we've been getting work indirectly from the support.
So the process that the minister lay out here, that there's a lot of work in Liberia that have been given to Liberian engineers, that's something that we should take to the bank. Is that correct?
Yeah, but it doesn't mean because I did not get work from them, it doesn't mean other people not getting work. Maybe other institutions are getting work, on the other side. I think just a couple of days ago, I saw something out for investment into the private sector. I saw a lot of roles that they want for companies to do, and we ourselves this time we are collaborating with 21st Century Construction to partake into some of the bid that will be coming on the 9th of October. So that will be the kind of first work we will be getting directly from the Ministry of Public Works.
I see. I hope to, when you guys get something again, I hope to be down there and be able to take care of some of the stuff. I really enjoyed my time over there, but that's besides the point. I think you're going to be one of the best here to give us the information that I've been wondering about. What exactly is the function of public work or public library? What do they do? Are they a designer? Are they a high class construction management? What do they do? What is their function?
Public works is, let me put it in a layman's sense, is the design construction firm for the Republic of Liberia that manages tenders, that supervise construction and all of those kinds of good things that make the infrastructure of the country better. That's the layman term, and that honor. Before public became public work, it was what you used to call the National Public Utility of Liberia, PUA. It was a conglomerate of LEC, water and sewer, and public work itself. Then later on, they broke it apart, and then LEC went as a separate entity, and then water and sewer went as a separate entity, and public work being what public work is today. But what has happened over the years is that, and public work in some instances because of political reasons or because of the political dynamics in the country has lost certain portion of all responsibilities. Okay, I'm from the school of thought that engineers should be the head of engineering firms, even though some of my friends disagree with me. But the presence of some of the non-engineers also diluted some of the functions of public works. And that was a setback for all of us as practicing engineers. So the entity itself, I think Mabutu can resuscitate the institution to come to be what it ought to be as an engineering firm. But on the flip side of it, and the establishment of the Rural Authority would also move public work to the stage where they would just do supervision, coordination, and standards, while the road authority will actually do the implementation than what it is now. So that's the entity and that's the beast. So we hope that they can do better with it.
Well, thank you, Mr. Smith. You know, that's a mouthful. We appreciate that. Let's go on a little bit on to. I'm sorry, but you're very good at that. So you're all over the place. Structure, whatever engineering question comes, you're ready for it. So, what is the standing right now with respect to Liberian engineers in Liberia? Why are they involved with public work in Liberia, the Liberian government? Are they being respected? Are they supposed to put the policy to help to formulate policy for public work with respect to the code and what have you? What exactly are you guys doing in Liberia that's supposed to help move the country forward as a group of engineers in Liberia?
Yes, I will be the first to say that we as engineers in Liberia, we have not done our part. We as Engineering Society of Liberia, we have not done our part. And the reason is simple. The reason is that people just been selfish to do their own work here at the Yana. We have an engineering society called ESO, Engineers of Liberia, and they are not clearly seen. And the engineering society is just sitting in the midst of public works, right? With a leadership that's been there for the last maybe 5, 6, 7 years. So we as engineers, we have not taken ourselves serious. And this is why we are saying that we need to go back there and revamp the leadership of the association so that we can be at the table when things are being done in the country, because the infrastructure of the country lie heavily on the engineers and the architects. Now we had a summit that built in the house in the 53rd that's supposed to legalize us so that we can be able to license people. We know to set standards for the engineering practice in Liberia. They have not done it. They've been sitting in there for the last 2 different settings or 3 different settings. They have not passed it. So we as engineers, we have to go there now and say, look, you guys have to pass this thing. Instead of just passing the 4G things, this is an entity that will help you as lawmakers to put in place in things that's supposed to be done in the infrastructure sector of Liberia. So again, it's on us. We have to step out and take the responsibility. But as you know, engineering Liberia, as the common man will understand, is or even the educated people, they don't take engineering serious until we can have a serious collapse of some of the structures or some of the things they build in Liberia. Then they will say that engineers are serious people. So again, we have to keep selling ourselves. That's what's happening in the country.
What is the group perspective? What is their perspective? In your what? How do they? I don't know what to say, but
something you can ask me because I'm not the president. I'm just a member because.
Yeah, and that's a hesitant. That's what I don't know exactly how to put this.
Because the thing is, there are rules. There are fundamental things that are set up, that is placed in the Constitution, that should be carried out by the leadership. They are not doing it. They are not doing it. The engineering society is supposed to be an advocacy group. It can be a group because today I don't have a job in the government, so I go sit down there as president. When they give me a job, then I forget the society. In fact, as I speak, I'm a member of the Constitution Commission or Constitution Revision Commission, and we are reviewing the Constitution now and putting things there that if you are a government official or hold any public office, you cannot hold any elected position in the association.
Let me ask you. Perhaps you don't have to answer my question from the society perspective, but you as an engineer, how do you feel having the Chinese, the Ghanaians, the Nigerians engineer coming to Liberia to do design, or sometimes take their work out of Liberia and take it to whatever it is, do the design or whatever it is, or come and do survey in Liberia and what have you? How do you guys feel? What are some of the things that goes through your mind when you find these things out? Knowing fully well that you yourself, you just spent close to, I don't know. I don't want to name the money, but when you were here the last time, you spent a lot of money for equipment, and yet still, how do you recoup those things?
Yeah, that is a bad precedent. But again, how do we solve this problem? The first and foremost thing, we have to be legal. We have to be legal in the point that if a guy comes from anywhere and brings any document in Liberia for engineering purposes, but Liberian engineers will review and stamp it. That has not been done. Take, for instance, the Law Society of Liberia, the lawyers, right? Nobody can practice in law in Liberia without going through the bar. If you are not satisfied by the bar, you cannot come and defend anybody in Liberia. Equally so, the accountants. The Accounting Association of Liberia, no CPA can come from anywhere in the world and go in that country and do anything without first collaborating with a Liberian established, a satisfied CPA firm. Not possible. So the engineering society must be like that too. I told you, because of the lack of information and the lack of legality, people are saying that there's no engineer in Liberia. I just took part in one bid with MCC. And I told myself, look, we will use only Liberian engineers. And yes, we came up with a very good team. But it's left with MCC now to either give us the job or not. You know what I'm saying? So these things are things that the engineering society can do when they are legal and they can be sued and you can sue. But here we are, the president of the pro temp, Mr. Albert Chip. He has an engineering background. But for Chile, he has engineers. So then now we have to lobby with them to take our business serious and make it legal. Then we can start one of these things. But if somebody bring a design from China and won't put a building up and I go stop it, they'll ask me, what legal right do you have? You understand what I'm saying? So these are things that, and the only way from my own learning and my own experience, the only people that can develop a nation mostly would be people that are the citizens of the country. Other people will come, yes, they will come, they will do what they can do because of the business atmosphere, and they get money to go. But me, we have to stay in our home. If it was not because of the civil crisis, you won't be here something. You'll be in Liberia.
Definitely. I'll be total.
Yeah.
And you know me and my total business. I don't play with it. Well, thank you, Mr. Smith. I think you also have other things to do. But before we take leave of you here, I just want to first of all thank you very much for availing yourself again this evening. As usual, this is not your first time on Liberian Public Radio. You've been on here for several times. Even when you were acting minister, you used to give us the privilege to come on here and have a conversation with you. But before I take leave of you here, I just want to ask you, and then again, perhaps you already stated it, the safety issue with respect to construction practices in Liberia is bad. Do you guys have any other means to make the government to understand how important it is when it comes to engineering, when it comes to construction? The safety aspect of it is very, very much important. Do you guys talk about that at all?
Yeah, we talk about that. We did a job with APN Terminal, and the APN Terminal National Port Authority, that's what Astro is upheld to the letter.
Wow.
Yes, to the letter. You cannot do any work at APN Terminal without your PPP, your personal protection gears. You cannot. And we want to see that on the government-run projects, And within the engineering society, there's a need also that we establish a unit that will just work strictly on construction safety, And many times you see some of the work that go on in Liberia, there's no barrier to even protect the workers, not even the equipment.
Nothing.
The guys are working in live traffic.
Yes.
And some of these guys are going at 60 or 70 miles per hour on the road.
Yes, I know. I've seen it.
And people need to understand that, look, if my dad leaves my house in the morning and goes to work on the highway, he must come home in the afternoon safe. But again, as I said, it takes the willpower on the part of the engineers and on the part of the Ministry of Public Works that the safety issue should be taken seriously. If I go to the site and I see the guy working on steel and he doesn't have a steel toe shoes, or he doesn't have on a protective vest or protective goggles when he's doing concrete, the guy should leave. I should first let him leave and also fine the company for that. If possible, close the job down until these safety issues are adhered to. But again, Africa being Africa, we will do the best we can and we'll keep passing the message, and hopefully that people will hear. But APN terminal, they don't play. They really don't play.
That's
and if you go in there to work it, even if you go to visit, you didn't just go in the container yard. A special bus will pick you up from the station. You don't walk. They take you to where you are. You wear your safety boots, your safety goggles, your hard hat, and you walk around there and get back on the bus and take you to where you call the safety zone.
Wow.
So yeah, so but the Chinese, hey, they don't respect it at all. As far as Chinese is concerned, safety is of non-issue. And you see some of the work they do. In some instances, when I was at Apollo, we almost shut the whole project down from Monrovia to Banga. When Chico was doing that work, we just gradually visited them unexpectedly, and you could see even there was no barriers among all the holes that were above, that were below 3 feet.
Wow.
Any car could jump in there and people could die. And another thing that we must also educate the Liberian people: if a car have an accident within the construction zone due to the fault of the contractor, you need to take them to court. If there's a fatality, let them pay for it. And then people are going to, and then government uphold those things and make sure that they pay for it, and then the things will get in place. And these are things that we have to do. These are visions that we have to carry on as a country.
Well, thank you, Mr. Smith. One last question, and then I can say good night to you. What do you make of this? In fact, do you have some of that $16 billion where you I could get some?
I told you I don't have 16 billion cents.
No, on a very serious note, what do you make of all this thing that is happening in Liberia with this money? And then just to conclude on your part, can you also tell us how do you rate this government at this time, the Dr. Weah government?
Okay, first let me speak on the issue of the money. I think there is an issue within the Weah government of coordination. And maybe I'm not the first to say it. Coordination on this particular issue is that the central bank is saying different thing. The Ministry of Justice and the Ministry of Information on the other side saying a different thing. The Finance Ministry is saying different thing. The chairman of CDC is saying different thing. So you see, you got too many people speaking on this money, on this issue. So the first thing the government needs to do is to coordinate this and make sure that the authority, the mouthpiece of the government is the Ministry of Information. All other documentation or all other information that needs to go for public consumption must come to the Ministry of Public, through the Ministry of Information. That's the first thing they have to do. Now, the issue of the money is missing is one thing. The issue of the money is not missing is another thing. This is how I look at it. The money from the government standpoint is missing because she doesn't have any control, even though it's an alleged that it's missing. Okay, government doesn't have to control. But on the side of people who allegedly took the money was infused in the Liberian economy. It's floating around. That's why the rate has gone up to 150 some to a US dollar. So there got to be somewhere where the coordination can take place. And I watched today the quest of, I don't know how they call the group, the group that's organized to say the request to bring the money back. And they presented a document at the United Nations office today. And what happened about it was that, and what I really felt proud about that we set the precedent is that was a non-violent demonstration today.
Yes, yes.
Up to press time, we have not heard that anybody was jailed, anybody was killed, or anybody was brutalized because they demonstrated. So I draw conclusions from the United Nations representative. Said he worked in Liberia from 1996 to 2000 to 1998, and the guys then used force to get the message across because it was war, right? But this group has matured. They took caution on the side of logic. Logic means that if I have an issue, I must present my issue and tell them this is the solutions I want, and then we can dialogue. And I think for that, it's a plus for Liberia because it shows that we have matured from violence to much more dialogue and finding common solutions to our problem. So that is on the other side of the citizen. Now, if you talk about rating this government, the government has been in power since January, right? There are certain precedents that you have to put in place, and I think they are dragging their feet. They need to define a roadmap that they are following. And because the society is such that we are a society of followers, there's no agenda by which they are operating. And that makes it difficult. They should come out now and say, look, in the next 6 years, this is the agenda we're going to perform. This is the agenda leading you from poverty to better life. And this is how we're going to fashion the agenda. I've been opportune to see some of the proper agenda that they're rating. It's no different from previous agendas. The only thing is all ambitious because there are certain things that they put in there that cannot be accomplished in 6 years. So what do you do for this kind of thing? You take them to the house and legislate them and make them into law and give them milestones, saying that in 10 years, we will build 10 kilometers of road. And in the 8th year, we do review. These are things that the government has to do, but I think they are starting at a very, very slow pace, and they are not taking advantage of the moment. Because the Liberian people, their interest will not be waiting. You know, you promised us you will give us orange, and now we are not getting the orange. We don't even have water. So you see that when you have people coming here and making noise here, there, you know. So I hope that the real government and the architects within his government can take you from this point and make sure that they can bring forth the agenda and they can see how it can be implemented. So that would be my own evaluation at this point.
Okay.
And I don't want to put a score to that.
Well, that's okay. That's okay. First of all, let me just say thank you very much, Mr. Smith. I appreciate it. I think you have given us a lot here tonight. And for me, like I've been with you all this time. I was there most of the time, but you've been there for all these years. So you have a complete insight from an engineering perspective to that of a governmental operational. You have the insight, and I really do appreciate you offering that to my audience here tonight. We appreciate it. We'll say thank you very much. But before we do that, we just ask you one more time if there's anything that perhaps we were supposed to touch on that will, bring the best, any other best that is left out of you, please take the opportunity to do so. If not, we'll say thank you very much.
Yeah, what I wanted to touch on is that it is important, right, that we as people in the diaspora start to put ourselves together in our nation building. I am of the school of thought, yes, you can criticize, but if you criticize, you must put forward solutions, okay? And we must learn what you call community or communal working. What I'm trying to say is that it's about time now that we draw from all the other nationals. You see the Nigerians, the Togolese, the other nationals, they form themselves into smaller groups and they open companies in the country, well managed, and that they too can contribute in that way than just sending money to people and say, okay, I'm giving you the money, just go buy X, Y, and Z. Because if I have a vested interest in my country, I will not want those things I have placed in there to be destroyed. So we have to graduate from this point, and people have to start thinking that, hey, I stay here 13, 15, 14 years. I have a core education. What can I do for my country? Can I go home now and open a business? Can I go home now and get involved with the development process of our country? The supermarkets in Liberia are all owned by foreigners. Major businesses in Liberia are owned by foreigners. There's no business in Liberia that you can say, hey, this is 100% owned, Liberian investment. And those are areas that are very much, profitable. Even the retail business, or finishing products, doing juices and things. These are things that we can do as a community. Maybe the people from Boko in the United Association in America can say, okay, since we get gold and diamond in our place, we'll put a small group together to be able to do mineral exploration and be able to, send these minerals, get money and develop these locations. You from Town, you in the logging business, you have a lot of forest there. You can go and say, okay, we take this forest, take this thing and produce plywood and things for the economy. These are things that people must be thinking of. So my own question is that, hey, we have stayed here too long. And in my traditional sense, your home is your home. You can divorce yourself from your home. So we got to start thinking how we can migrate with businesses of what we have laid in our country. Again, Mr. Sampson told on my closing remark, I want to thank you very much for the opportunity and for what you're doing. Keep up the good work. I scan through the Facebook. I see a lot of Liberians that are having these shows, and it's good. It's good in the right direction. That information from whom can be disseminated to our communities here in America or in Europe or in Asia or anywhere of the world. So again, thank you again for inviting me. Next time I will be here again. I will be available to reach you at your studio in California.
That would be great. That would be great. I'm coming home in January. I hope my office is still open.
Oh yes, your desk is there. Your office is there. Your vehicle is there. I go mess with you a little bit.
Yeah.
Alliance gave you a vehicle that was using gas, and you went and you put in fuel oil. So we have to Alliance have to overhaul the entire engine. So the bill is there for you to come and pay. Okay, Mr. Two, it was good talking to you today.
Okay, man. Thank you. True story. I put a fuel oil in the gasoline car. So, but anyway, thank you, Mr. Smith. We appreciate it, and we say thank you very much. We appreciate it, and say good night to you. Then.
And good night, everybody. Thank you for listening to me.
Thank you.
Okay. All right, bye-bye.
One
Okay, folks, Samson told Labro Paparito. Let me do the second half of the show very quickly here. I just want to, what have happened, the protest today, I just want to give you a little background and then I'll close up. First of all, I want to thank truly, truly from the bottom of my heart, thank the leadership of the Republic of Liberia. Dr. Weah, you and your people, I want to thank you guys very much because what you demonstrated here today was something that perhaps some of us didn't think was possible to be able to have people to demonstrate against you. This is not something that is quite usual in our country. Past government will frown on it, and other people will come out and try to do something to provoke or to even start trouble. But it was peaceful. It was peaceful so far. What I do know, I don't know yet. I haven't checked the site lately. Maybe I'm saying something else happened already that I don't know of. Well, if I don't know of it, I can't speak to that. But I want to thank you very much. Let me go on, folks. You know, there are certain things as we all get older. If you're smart, you continue to learn. And I think Dr. Weah, and it's in fact the mother of the land used to allow Dr. Weah and his people to demonstrate as well. So she too deserves our thanks as well. But let me show you something that happened yesterday that brought about the peaceful demonstration. We all know what it is. It's money, so that's fine. But let me go on. This is very interesting, folks. Yesterday, according to the paper, Front Page Africa, actually, okay, here is the Minister of Justice. Of course, as you know, Dr. Weah is not in Liberia right now. And I will go on that, his trip. I'll try to do the show on his trip Wednesday or what have you. But yesterday, there was a meeting that was held between the Minister of Justice, the protester, their organizer, the police, and then people from the UN. So let me read some of the things that was put forward yesterday as during the meeting, and then you will understand why I'm telling these people thank you. Because the point here is this: people were angry. They wanted to vent their anger. And if the government of the Republic of Liberia, which has the right, they can resist that. And try to resist it, that would have been a terrible, terrible thing. And then we have other sedition that continue to make statements that are ridiculous as far as I'm concerned. There's the chairman of CDC now making a statement that they will have 150 people. If you look at the pictures, thousands. Why would you want to make light of people trying to do something, trying to express themselves? Why would you go with the Donald Trump's crowd side business here? I thought that was very low. I thought knowing the chairman, I thought he would have been above, but apparently he didn't. That didn't happen. But let's go on. Let me read. Let me read what how do you call it, the Minister of Justice during their conversation yesterday. Let's read together. I hope. Okay. You see on there? Say, Justice Minister died. We are glad. Justice Minister talking now. We are glad for this meeting. You can go ahead and conduct a peaceful build-up. Remaining matters that are not classified here with respect to the route, communication, commencement time, termination time, commencement and termination point can still be finalized and resolved with the Inspection General of the Police. So, he says, let me go on. Just bear with me. Bear with me. Okay. Okay. He said, so we thank you very much for your cooperation. We can work together. Now, this is a very interesting statement that he's making. Okay. Whoever is calling, just hold on. I'm not done with my show yet. Okay. He's saying to them that thank you very much for you coming, for cooperating with us. We can work together. And let's scroll up now. And he said, we can work together. And as time goes by, to exhibit maturity and commitment to peace as it expected of all of us Liberians. Okay? Folks, that's the statement from the Minister of Justice. He didn't condemn these young people. And here is one of the organizers, one of the smartest young Liberians that I've ever seen. This kid, this young man is so smart, unbelievable. In fact, if you watch his video yesterday, when you look around, don't just listen to him, but look at his surrounding, and you will understand why he's so smart. Books everywhere. I'm sure he immersed himself. He's smart to be able to study and be at the top and still be able to involve into community issue. This kid is smart. By the way, he's one of the organizers. He was one of those that was present yesterday. So when the minister made that statement, he also came back and said, "Thank you, Mr. Minister." But here's what he said. Let's read that. And this is Martin Collies, okay, who is one of the organizers. And he's very vocal as well. But he's not a violent person. He never preached violence. But he wants to make sure his rights are respected because he knows his right. So those are things that as a government, you can't put your thumb on those things and say, I'm going to make sure these things don't happen. We saw Mayor Jefferson Kocho yesterday saying, I think today or yesterday, saying all the others, they were sinking. Provocation, as far as I'm concerned. What were you saying? These people say they want to go demonstrate. You're not the police to go and guide them. You would think the city will be at the forefront. Say, come on, you want to demonstrate? Knowing full well what sedition have gone through when it comes to demonstration. Okay? Sedition have gone through when it comes to demonstration. They should be able to sympathize with anyone who wants to demonstrate peacefully in the Republic of Liberia. Whether you agree with their ideas or not. But we have people who want to have some sort of a counter demonstration. And this young man said, whoa. Thank you, Mr. Minister. It's a very good statement. But guess what? Let's read what he's have to say. Okay? You can't do that. And this is people are dreaming. Liberians outside of Liberia are dreaming daily. Okay? They're dreaming of things might not go well in Liberia. These things it's going to take a little bit to have a flashpoint. And then we all start all over again. Okay, let's read Martin Colley statement. Say, Honorable Attorney General, Justice Minister Dean, some of our members, I'm reading what Colley was saying at the meeting. He said, some of our members noticed yesterday that CDC Youth Wing Honor Monrovia City Mayor Jefferson Kocho is organizing a counter protest. At that point, though, when he made that statement, somebody jumped in, said, we want things to be calm. Y'all want to demonstrate? That's fine, but we want things to be calm. And listen, this person said, at that point, he was interrupted by officials of the government who assured him that there won't be any counter protest from CDC Youth Wing or from Jefferson Kocho. Okay? This is how you have discussion. This is how, because by then, by saying what they said to this young man, making say, okay, I think we're on the right road. If these people are going to be responsible, they're going to start their responsibility, showing their responsibility right there in a meeting. So all of them respect each other just from the meeting. This is why this thing was so peaceful. Because if they had started any kinds of confusion from the meeting, it won't have ended well for all of us. Okay? So I got one more reading to do. Okay? Here now is the police chief who was also at the meeting. Okay? The police chief was also at the meeting. Okay? He was a little bit, well, but he has the right because he's the police. He's not there for kumbaya. And I'll read his statement, but he's not there for kumbaya. He want to make sure everybody, yeah, this is what you want to do. We have a rules. And he stated that I will read that. But in that meeting, in order the meeting, every comment, the result of that meeting yesterday was already, I believe, Dr. We have already laid out the result of that meeting. There will be no violence. If these people want to demonstrate, let them do it. But you must let them know they have to be responsible. We're not going to deny anybody from protesting. But we must make sure they understand the rule of the country. And so by the time the protester, the police director, the minister, and the UN people, by the time they have that meeting, Dr. Weah most likely was already involved. So that's why I'm thanking the leadership of the Republic of Liberia. This is my route that I'm going to take. I'm not here to accuse anybody. You did this, you did that, you did that. There's a few things that I don't agree with, which was the statement from Mayor Koji yesterday. I thought that was not appropriate. The statement from the CDC chairman, I thought that was not appropriate. These people didn't just come from the farm and say they want to demonstrate because they don't have the sun too hot. They said they want to demonstrate because of the money issue. There was an issue that brought about the demonstration. You provide the safety aspect of the demonstration, and that's what this meeting was about. And this is my section that I'm taking this afternoon. Okay, so let's go. Let's see what let's see what the policeman is saying. The police director himself. Okay, and I gotta get closer because it's sometimes difficult to read. But let's see. Okay. Okay, let's do this. All right. Okay, here right there it says police Inspector General Suri warned. I told you. Okay. There is rule of law in this country. Mr. Demonstrator, I want you guys to understand before we get out of here, before you put anybody out in the street, there are rules in this country. I want you to know that. And guess who he's talking to? Talking to Cully, who is not stranger to the rules and laws in the Republic of Liberia. This young man is smart, very intelligent, and they all know. But he still, as a police director, he wants to make sure these things are put out front because you have United Nations representative at that meeting. They want to make sure nobody right is abused, but at the same time, you're going to demonstrate, you must understand that the police are giving you safety information. So you can't come and say, the police tell us, right there. There is rule of law in this country. And when you breach the law, you will be penalized according to the law. Out front, from stage one, he didn't hide it. These are the conditions. If you accept these conditions, because it is the job of the Republic of Liberia to protect lives and property, These are the conditions. It is my job as a police officer to make sure these rules are not broken. Okay, let's go. Let's go. And then blah blah blah. There's other thing I took out. Okay, IG stress that the protester leaders are under obligation. Folks, this is why this thing was so successful. Because the all of them, the police, the government and the protester from the beginning understood each other. There is no way you're going to misinterpret what is happening. So you get there as a protester and you decide, I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to go ahead and act like the aren't yet. No, but that's not all. He went up. Just listen, okay? IG stress that the protester leaders are under obligation to control and maintain those people that you are putting out there, because anything short of that will fall on your leadership. These are the kind of things Toba then they didn't do. They say demonstration. They say, who would they have? They say, you go get it, man. These are the kind of things other past government didn't do. They find out who the head of the demonstration, who gave them order. No, y'all go get it here. Then they start looking for people, children, people running away. But with this kinds of stuff, the leadership of the demonstration have availed himself to the government to say we are responsible. The government is coming back, say we will hold you responsible if anything goes wrong that is outside of the law. If you violate the law, anybody in your group that violated the law will come into you. But guess what? He didn't just stop there. I love this. I love this. If we all operate like that, we will be fine. Tell me what you want. I'll tell you what I want to do. Simple as that. Let's go on. I love this IG. Yeah, the police director here. He ain't somebody coming to whoop sounds into behind Buso Kola and something like that. Hey, I'll go to find sounds into it. They start slapping me all over before they bring me to it. I ain't gonna touch that. By the way, you hear that? Fall on the leadership. That is the main reason. Listen to him. Listen to what he said. Listen to this. Okay? He said, this is the main reason why we call you and to sit and plan this march together. So when you notice, interesting words now. He's telling the protester, if you notice anything, listen to this. When you notice any intruder, people who are not supposed to be with you, but they decide they want to start trouble, but using your platform to start trouble in the country. People who will come to intrude your process. Okay, he's not done yet. Intruder or anybody who tries to deviate from your goals, you immediately notify the police. We will take that person from the group. He then said, we're going to stop y'all. He then said, we're going to put stop to the thing. He said, you tell us who the person is, we'll get the person out of there. And you will continue with the process. Folks, there is what you call people working hand in hand to resolve issues. The people were angry and they decided to demonstrate. Past government is not too sure about the mother of the land, but past government said, how dare you? I'm in America trying to beg people for money for me to come feed you. Then you're over there want to disgrace me among my people. You will not let them get anything. Nobody get in the street. Anybody get in the you whoop them. Past government will have passed that law. Reject the demonstration. And the president say he coming. When he can't, then he will take care of it. What I want to demonstrate for? That would have been an argument. Past government. Past government. And I'm not here to argue on behalf of this government. This government know what to do. They know exactly what to do. But I'm just being factual. I'm just telling you that these people that are leading this government, let me use my word again tonight. This is not a banana republic. This is a republic of Liberia, where we have laws and we respect our leaders. And when the president spoke the other day and said, "You give us chance," he has demonstrated again, the government Republic of Liberia have demonstrated again their capacity to endure, their capacity to make the platform usable for all of us. There are few people within the government, like the comment from Mayor Kochi, like the comment from the CDC chairman. I'm not too sure exactly what they were trying to prove. People say they want to demonstrate peacefully. You're not police officer. You're not law enforcement. You're not a law enforcer. Why, if they asked for permission and the permission was granted, so why are you going to come by and have a counter demonstration for what? The people sinking so. If you're not with all, we will deal with you like we did. What is this? What is this? For me, that was wrong. We name people like the Dr. We have demonstrated. True story. If this had been other government that I know, I'm in America among the people in the UN. I'm supposed to be giving speech on Nelson Mandela Day, whatever they call it. And you're going to be there in Liberia to disgrace me among my peers? How dare you? I'm over here begging people for money for me to come and feed you. Then you want to disgrace me? Where you think I eat your money? I take your money. Where you want to prove what? You will not let anybody get in the street. Anybody get in the street, you get them out. And the people who might have been ordered to get people out of the street, they're not coming there with hand in their pocket. Then we have issues. But Dr. Weah and his people decided, well, let them demonstrate. Let them demonstrate. However, you'll have a meeting with them. Identify the leadership of the demonstrators. And let them understand from our own perspective as a government. And let us understand as well what they are concerned about. Not necessarily about the protest, but what will be their immediate concern during the protest. And perhaps we can accommodate those. This, folks, is what I've been preaching years over years. And it means compromise. If you compromise, not necessarily giving in. That's not what I'm saying. But you give and take. Can you imagine? Think about it. If the situation today have turned worse, people dying in Monrovia, CNN carrying the news, while Dr. Weah is at the UN, don't you think that would have been much more disgraceful than it is if you try to stop the people? And I think this young man played the games well. And you say he's not smart? I laugh. This young man is very intelligent. He keeps surprising people, but not me. I'm not surprised. Why? I'm not going into his educational background and what have you, but the mere fact this young man played football. As anybody who played little, not even high top, I mean just round town football. You're leaving the barracks, going all the way to Senko to play football. Your charter bus. You'll go to Nuclear Town. Your charter bus and go play football. Discipline. Even around town. Because if anybody start foolishness over there, will not enjoy the game. We'll go over there to win. That's why this young man is bringing on the board. And people are going to disagree with me. That's fine. That's fine. But I'm just telling you that I'm happy that this man understood the word discipline. And in that discipline, there's another word, compromise. And he has utilized it effectively. It's a win-win. The demonstrator have what they want. The The money issue remains the same. You know, we haven't changed anything. Dr. Weah and his people have what they want. The demonstration happened. Nobody get hurt. The money issue remains the same. Win-win. The demonstrators are going to go now. Say, we demonstrated. They will bring our money back. Dr. Weah and his people are going to say, the people, we allow the people to have a freedom. The freedom in this country is nothing you can sneeze at. People demonstrated. Thousands of Liberians got in the street, shut down the Monrovia, and we didn't raise one finger against anybody. Folks, is it not a win-win situation? Why do we fight? The people that took the money, if at all they did, the situation will be resolved. Now, here is the issue, and this is Samson to Bloku. I'm on it again this afternoon. Here's the issue that concerns me, though. And we have to be very careful. And specifically, Samson to how I go about praising this government and praising some demonstrators. I have to be very careful. And I have to choose my word very carefully here. The demonstrator, let me deal with them first. I hope that this action does not embolden them to, whenever something happens, that perhaps they feel that they're not satisfied, we're going to get in the street. Yes, the reason why I'm hoping, and this leadership, the leadership of demonstrators, they are very smart. They're not people you can just fool around, say they'll go demonstrate, and no. They're smart. They know exactly what they want. Some of them want to have a nice career. They're not about ready to die for somebody who want to be president. No, that's not what they want. But here's my concern. Here's my concern when it comes to the demonstrators. I hope with this peaceful demonstration, they should not be emboldened to the point like whenever little thing happens, you're not getting in the street. Yes, the reason why. I'm not telling them not to, but they have to pick their battle and be able to win. This is a government. Let us don't forget that. It's a government. They were duly elected, certified by the international community. It's a government. This is not play toy. It's a government. I hope you understand that. They have the right to protect the lives and property of the Republic of Liberia. Now, you have issue in Liberia. I don't know what it is, but they decide they want to demonstrate. This time around, people felt, oh, they have a demonstration. Last time, nothing happened. And those who perhaps, I don't know, I'm speculating, and you can't fire me for that. I can speculate. That's my job. I'm allowed to. People who perhaps feel, oh, it's time for us to start something. Let's disturb the whole thing here. We're not getting anything. They're not giving us, so let's disturb it. So they're going to try to utilize that process and try to foment conflict among us. So I'm hoping that the demonstrators, having viewed this process, and they're smart. I don't even have to say that. They've taken notes. What went wrong, all of this process today, and what went right. What was the good thing that happened? And the next time they want to come on here, and knowing this young man that I've been fathering for a very long time, Mr. Cully, I'm sure he will come out and expand on the good thing that this thing resulted into. And try to discard all of the bad things. I'm sure by now, these are LU students. I'm sure by now they have a meeting and say, okay, let's compare notes. People from Nuclear Town, people from Cloud Town, people from Bushra Island, wherever you come from. What were the things that you guys did for us to be successful like this? Let's compare notes. And these people will compare notes. After that, that note goes into their archive. And whenever the government something happens that they need to generate Bring the masses out. Not because something to eat Kesali yesterday in total, then I'm going to go demonstrate. Then I can't call it there to come and join me. Then I can't demonstration I'm talking about. You understand what I'm saying? No, on a very serious note. These young people have the notes. And you can't just call them and say, you don't go demonstrate. It ain't happening. Because they are sophisticated. Because if not, you won't have the kind of issue you have today. I'll give you an example. I am perfect example. Back in 1979, I'm going to go back to 79. Because I watched it. I saw it unfolded right before my own eyes. Thank God I'm still alive. Where we gathered over to the power office, right behind PUA, on the other side of Center Street, the graveyard on the right-hand side, power office on the left-hand side, PUA right behind the Sony there. They were trying their best that money. They were trying to stop it. But it was just too late. You don't have the kind of communication system you have now. You want something, you text something and go all over Monrovia. They didn't have that. But when they came in, the process that brought about the peaceful demonstration this morning was not there either. The police instigated the demonstration to get out by forcing them. And I was there. I didn't say they say. I said something to say. The police forced the people to stay in the confine of the compound. It was small. The group was larger, so they jumped and got back on Ronald Street, and here goes the demonstration. Now, if these people have had the trouble and the people have the inside, the far side, let's say, and say, let's have a meeting. What if you do the what if game, you don't have these kind of things, but exactly they did the what if game. The people were prepared. So in case anybody come in there that this group don't recognize and you want to start trouble, they point you out to the police because they have a specific goal. Folks, this is what you call democracy. We have to work hand in hand. And I'm not saying we should give in. We better hold Dr. Weir and his people feet to the fire because that's the only way they will produce for us. They're human beings like any other person. Okay? Hey, my man, I'm tired tonight. I'm tired doing the thing. I'm going to go lay down a little bit. Who's going to do it if you do that? But if you hold your feet to the fire, oh, my man, they say the front page got something running tomorrow. What is it they're calling each other? What front page have? Oh, front page now come out with some kind of information about somebody eating money. Where? This other minister. Hey, let call him. My man, what happened? Then they start putting papers together. Front page has now held these people's feet to the fire. Truthfulness. That's how you get transparency. But every time front page come out, hey, the people let it lie too much. Fake news. Fake. Okay. Front page was the one that brought all about this issue here. Not negatively now. I mean, front page brought it up. Liberians were able to see. That's why you have press. Mr. Ronnie Shea, I also want to take the opportunity to say thank you, my brother. Those of you that have been following you, in fact, I got a name for you. I'll call you Double A Soul. One day you for Sansinto, tomorrow you turn Sansinto over. I love it when I say that. But that's the truth. Front page had never been a paper, as far as I'm concerned, to say front page is so friendly with it. No. Front page friendly when you tell them because you're doing something good. If you do anything wrong, front page will knock you out. There ain't no question about it. So, folks, that's the side of the demonstrator. They have to be mindful. Let's go on the side of the government. The government has shown to the international community. Said, look, I have a clean hand. Look at the picture up there. Massive demonstration in Monrovia. Nobody got hurt. President Dr. George Weir. We thank you, Mr. President. I bet where they are tonight in New York, they're probably high-fiving each other. Because tomorrow, the international community is going to be shaking his hand down. The firmness of that handshake is going to be different than what it was yesterday. Yeah, you did good, Piggy. That's the kind of that's the kind of handshake they're going to shake. Yeah, Piggy, you did good. Thank you. They're all going to say thank you. However, the issue, Samson told, like Bro Public Reader, I'm on it. The issue that brought about the demonstration is still there. It's still there. And so if the government decided to be complicit, it ain't happening. These children, they're aware of the situation. Now they know they can do this. You slack up on this, you're on your own. And I think Dr. Weir should use this opportunity as a teachable moment. Well, it is a teachable moment for all of us. For all of us. But I think Dr. Weir and his people should seriously get into the matter of this money business. If the money is not stolen, but like Honorable Smith stated, maybe people use the money to put the money back into the economy. Stay so. And let these people give their reason. I'm not one of those that like for people children to go to jail. But if that's what the law of the country is, who am I to say no? But when the incident happened, people were going on, and these people need to go to jail. Whose son you going to throw in jail without going through due process? Are you crazy? What's wrong with you? You think that Banana Republic? I told you before, this is not Banana Republic. This is Republic of Liberia. Laws. You're not going to grab somebody because you think that the person stole money. Investigate, prosecute. Found guilty, go to jail. Whatever punishment the crime is for. So the government, when you cooperate with people, you don't have no eggs thrown in your faces. When you accept the people who give you the mandate, if something goes, not every time that you do something right, there will be time people will say no. And some of us will be here. People cry for no reason. We will come and be truthful and tell the people you can't cry for them one. We will say so. But if you do something that is not right, we will also tell the people, you're right. These other people are not right. And if we continue to be on the fence line, not good, but be involved, but be truthful. So once again, I want to say this evening, as a Liberian, I'm very happy. I'm very happy. The rule of law has proven himself again. Now here is what have happened. Last day before, I might just take one or two questions here, and then I'll get out of here. For Samson to Liberian Radio. I think so. I think so. Front page has to be front page, and other gentlemen they need to be voted as the journalist of the year to be truthful with you, because these people they did a job. And again, I join you, my man. I join you. Front page Africa, congratulations. You know, I don't agree with you all the time, but let me deal with front page a little bit. I agree with you all the time because years ago, I'm from Granjide, I'm from Town Granjide. So front page used to come up and be nasty with Granjidans. The Granjide county, the people want to overthrow, blah, blah. The mouth skin will be balling. Then we have a young man here, Captain Jonathan Gayjue. He alone fought the battle for us. Intellectually now, he ain't take gone to do anything. Then he was writing. I respect that young man, as young as he was. But he was writing, responding, pointing out things. 2 days later, front page turned to the mother of the land. The government is. Then I'm like, oh, you see? And that's what front page will do for you. They've always been truthful. And there's nothing, what I'm saying here is nothing secret. You remember front page? His uncle, Ronnie Shea's uncle. There was an incident with the uncle, the president, and the reporting. There was a big incident. Ronnie Shea took the line are supposed to report, inform people, not to back anything that I think is wrong. And he continued to do that. And he will be successful. And so again, Mr. Che, thank you. Thank you. We'll pray for you. We'll continue to pray for you. That's all we can do. Just pray for you and continue to do the hard work. It will pay out. If some sooner or later Liberian going to recognize, even sedition will recognize that with your effort, you're saving the government of the Republic of Liberia. By the extension, you're saving the presidencies of the Dr. Weah himself. Because if you come out and write things that is not right, that perhaps the president might not know about, you bring it to the light. So thank you. But let me go back to the president. And then the point that I'm making here before I got back to front page is this. Now that we know that these things are possible, let's criticize. With criticism come with responsibilities. Don't come from midnight dreaming and then you can't write. Take your dream to be real. Some kind of accident happened somewhere in South Africa or something, then you say it happened in Monrovia. Putting it on front page. Millions of people are seeing it and you're connecting it to Liberia. It's not fun. It's the image of the country. People getting around Monrovia, trying their best, but yet we can't even showcase them. We can't showcase their honest work. And you got those in the government, private sector, that only want to cut corners. We have to talk to those people, not necessarily punishing them, but you have to make them understand that their action is costing all of us, including themselves. I give you an example. You have people who making $15,000, $16,000 a month in Liberia, where you have tons of Liberians, tons of Liberians making less than $2, $3 a day, and you're making $15,000. But in a day, by the time you get to your office, the line from here to East Jesus, because everybody wants from you. That's our culture. We're all connected. Take that money, spread it out. I'm not talking about, of course, I'm a liberal. I love wealth redistribution, but that's not what I'm talking about right now. But take that money, like Mr. Smith said earlier, put together as a group, establish a company in your area that will provide a job opportunity for the young people. You can even come up with an idea to say, we have the school here. We'll pay your school fee, but you have to stay and do X, Y, and Z. Cooperation, understanding, compromise. That's the only thing that's going to get us moving forward. Other than that, let's continue having fun. Samson told LeBron Public Radio, let me go ahead and take the call. Any of you that want to call me. I way past my time. Okay. Quick. Okay. Okay, folks, that's the number. Give me a call, Samson to 916-533-2048. I'm not going to be here that long. It's late anyway. First thing before I leave tonight, I want to thank Mr. Smith for coming on here and giving us all this information again tonight. It's been a wonderful, wonderful time. I also want to thank, once again, before I get out here, I want to thank the Republic of Liberia, their leadership. Dr. Weir, once again, you have shown to us why is it that the young people continue to gravitate towards you. Compassion, you got it. Compromise is in you. No nonsense, it's also in you. I'm not saying you're weak, sir, but I really appreciate you make all of us proud, like you usually used to do when you were playing. Sunday afternoon, some of us usually will play a game. You come from playing game, and you're sitting there, you and your friend, and you're drinking beer. Then you talk about football. Okay, let me take. Oh, okay, call me back again if you care. Okay, and let me get off this one. Okay, so we used to talk about football. Oh yeah, yeah, Josh, we are from Liberia, of course. So thank you, thank you. Please, it's a government, it's a country. Not every one of us will agree with you. You got people that will say some nasty thing about you. But I like the way you're carrying yourself because I told, I believe Costa was on our show on LPR one time, and I asked him, why won't you think that? I think you were having few with one of the son who was at the security something. And I said, "Hey, come here. And I mean, I will find you. You must have through. You talk to my mom like that. That's issue." So we thank you. Samson told LeBron Public Radio. What's your name? Where you're calling from? What's on your mind?
I'm calling from Atlanta, Georgia.
Thank you for coming up. What's on your mind, sir? What's your name, by the way?
Okay, Amos George.
Okay, Mr. George, thank you very much. What's on your mind?
Okay, first thing I want to make is it was Mr. Philip Brown that reported this with a book the story.
Okay.
From the discovery, it was Mr. Philip Brown from that newspaper.
Okay.
He
All
was
right.
the one that broke the story.
Thank you very much. Thank you for pointing that out to us. And whoever pointed that story out, I also want to tell you thank you. But thank you very much, my brother. We appreciate it. Thank you for pointing it out to us. Go ahead.
It's Philip Brown. Was the one that broke the story.
Okay.
And the government has to provide security because people have been calling and threatening his life in Morovia for breaking the story. And next thing I want to say is today the Liberian demonstrated maturity.
Yes.
Because some element of the city were spreading false rumors, trying to create a solution that there was no need for it.
Right.
Because if people have the right, the Constitution of Liberia gave the citizens the right to assemble and to demonstrate.
Right.
So when Zambo and Jefferson Coding and came up, and Akaya Gray saying that nobody should go out in the street, then I wonder what was putting the casket in Moreover against President Aaron doesn't tell it. They didn't realize that they had a plan to do that. So look, let me say this to them. Liberia is not yesterday. Because of social media, this is now we are holding this government accountable. Because from the inception, we were finally allowing President Weir on it, Ellen Johnson said it. He did not do it. And for me, on social media, I was one of those. When Weeks presented his letter of resignation, I said that we should tell the Liberian people how much money was in circulation because he was the governor. He was responsible for the monetary policy of Liberia. I said that we should tell the Liberian people how much money was printed, in what denomination, how much money was in circulation. But President William failed to do that. And even when United Petrol was printed, I said it again. I said that United Petrol should tell the Liberian people how much money in circulation and what denomination. But President William paid this year And I went further. I said I did not trust not patriot. Reason. I said because not patriot during the Liberian crisis, you were arrested by Prince Johnson and taken to the National Bank. And Prince Johnson looted the National Bank. And today, not patriot I never told the Liberian people how much my Prince Johnson looted. And you send him back to the bank. Now they think some of us saw it's coming by now to bite them. They have to produce this money. President Weah and his government must tell the Liberian people, not even tell, but bring this money. Because there are two sets of money in question from what I look at. Ellen Johnson said she printed money in Sweden. The Minister of Information said money was printed in Lebanon and China. The Justice Minister said, yes, money was printed or brought into the country. The Finance Minister said, no, there was no money missing. The question is, who is not speaking the truth? So President Weah must tell the Liberian people that there are three conflicting statements coming out of the government mouth. So they must tell us what they did with our money. People are in abject poverty in Nigeria. Children cannot go to school. You got mobile ride car cost $85,000. Who paid more? Is it on government payroll? We want to see the payroll of the CDC government, the partisan payroll. We want to see who's paying all these people. Because they are not employed by government. So we want to know where the money is coming from to pay more to run our organization. We want to see it. We want to see that payroll. How that party is being sponsored. We're going all around to break ground for party headquarters. Where is the money coming from? The party is a private entity. Not supposed to use that brand money. So for me, I'm saying if there's an audit to be done, the past government and the present government should be audited. And the government should present full report to the Liberian people. Thank you, sir, for taking my call.
Yeah, but before you go, would you not then take the opportunity to say thank you to the government and the people of the Republic of Liberia for demonstrating? I think you stated earlier, but I just want to hear it from you again.
No, I said the people of Liberia, not the government. Because the government yesterday, Akara Green was threatening that nobody should get in the street.
Akara Gray is not the government. Akara Gray is just a representative. He doesn't represent the Republic of Liberia. So,
but these are people who are speaking for the government. These are the spokesmen for the government.
They are not. They might be in our mind as being spokespeople for the government, but in reality,
so
they are not.
What is the capacity?
Akara Gray is a representative. Moluba Molu is the chairman of CDC. That's it. If you were to hear from Eugene Nagbe, if you were to hear from Eugene Falcon, those are people that are on payroll.
Listen, what you want me to say, let me tell you this, sir. It is the Constitution that gave us the right as like going to demonstrate. So it's not a choice of the government. It's guaranteeing the Constitution. It's not a choice of the government.
Okay. All right. Thank you. Thank you.
Let me ask you.
Yeah.
You disagree with me?
Yes. Well, not quite. Not quite. Let me be a little bit careful here. Not quite. You constitutionally, you're right. But as somebody who has a family value and family mind, I think we should also extend our hand appreciation to the government for making sure this thing didn't turn into an ugly thing. So I think we also should give the.
Now listen, if we were trying to do anything ugly, the government would have been responsible. Because the Constitution says every citizen has the right, and the government should provide protection. That is the social contract we sign with the government.
Okay.
And it is in the Constitution.
All right. Okay. I can see here. All right. Thank you very much, sir. We appreciate it.
Thank you for taking my call.
All right. I can see here. I'm not going to weigh on that one. But to be honest with you, I still say we have to say thanks to the government for the opportunity for these young people to go and express themselves peacefully. And I think this is how you build trust. The government would need to trust somebody, and people, and we ourselves also need to trust the government. Why? Take for example, the government. We say the government. I just read the statement the Minister of Information were making, Mr. Cully made, and then the police director made his own statement. What to say that each of them were not, pulling the wolf over each other's eyes, but they were able to stick to that. They were able to hold themselves responsible for that. So I think we need to sometimes to say thank you to the people. Sometimes, we can criticize, but at least if somebody do something good, little bit, you don't say thank you. This is Liberia. It's our country. You can't just throw the constitution around like that. Yeah, you have constitutionally, you have the right. And even if the government have done something wrong, thing have go horrible wrong tonight, you're gonna be blaming the government. But that doesn't mean you're gonna have the government to resign. It doesn't matter. It's not happening. So what can we give them little thank you? At least they are our brothers and sisters as well. Let us just say thank you and let them know that we feel proud of their behavior. Samson, to hold on 1 minute. Samson to LeBron Public Radio. What's your name and where you're calling from? What's on your mind?
Yeah, hello, Mr. Samson Blanco. This is Bonito. I'm calling from Washington, Seattle, in the United States.
Thank you.
And I'm Ghanaian from Zuelu.
Okay. Thank you. Welcome, sir. What's on your mind?
Yeah, Mr. To, I look at you on the table. I look at you speaking, talking about a demonstration in Liberia. And you went so far, you explained to the public, especially to the Virginia or to the Liberian residing in America. And what I want to tell you is this. I'm happy to see you on the table explaining things to make some people mind elected. Some people, they don't know what's really going on. When something happens, you have to check and see, find out before you go out to say something to the public. I'm happy for the demonstration in Liberia because the present government and the past government, the people need our leader that concerning about the 16 billion. Some of them, they are present now in Mr. Honorable. We are our president, working with president, and their need is involved. Even though our president, he said, I didn't know anything about it. We agree. I myself agree that we probably didn't know anything about it. And not in Liberia. But if he know that he's there, he will now bring a thing out and call FBI from this country, from America, from Ghana, from Nigeria. Because while he's there inside. But now I feel that he's there not inside. We Nigerians in America, we have our people back over there. We are feeling for them. So if anything go on wrong there, we want somebody to stand publicly and explain them together and just try to keep the citizen of Liberia. If they don't talk, it will still continue. If they continue for long, but Liberia has the power. That Liberia put the president there. That Liberia is responsible for the country and the president responsible. So thank you according to the way you standing over there. I saw you and you were explaining everything happening and the government there, the demonstration, the national blood, and not do anything, a peaceful demonstration. Thank you to let us to know. But we hope that 16 billion there, we the Liberian, we are feeling we are suffering. Now we know who all use our money and what they use it for. So thank you for your explanation.
Thank you, sir. Like, bro, man, that money business, That's how we are in us in trouble. This system, this system, man, like, bro, man, that money business, you don't play with. Okay, folks, this is Samson. So I'm gonna get out of here, and I've been here for quite a while. Again, I want to say thanks to all. It's been a wonderful evening. Tune in tomorrow for Mr. Soul Show, where he's going to bring you more in-depth politics. Mr. Soul doesn't pull punches. He just tell you exactly how it is. And most of the time, he will bring people. He will bring the reporter from Liberia to report to you live. So it's not to say he's making anything up. He just not the type of person that will allow you to come on the show and try to put a wolf over his eye. Hey, you're not gonna survive. But anyway, once again, I want to thank all of you for tuning into Liberian Public Radio and making us your #1 show. We appreciate it. It's been a wonderful, wonderful time, Liberian Public Radio. That's all we're going to continue to do is to bring you information of what is happening and whatever it is that we can do as a community. Before I take leave of you here this evening, on a very serious, serious note, you can't die and come back. You die, you die. The $16 billion is a lot of money. But that's something, if we fight hard and work hard, we can get. Let's just take, for example, and I'm going to be ridiculous here this afternoon. The $16 billion, whatever it was on a container. And the container was on a ship. What if that ship had gone down? What were you going to say? Because once the ship leaves the port of whatever it's coming from, I'm sure the government, before it gets out of there, they most likely sign for it. Or let's just be ridiculous some more. I want you to see what if. I want you to see something else. $16 billion get to the port of Liberia. And some sort of a heavy industrial accident happened. Because the Liberian government have already signed for it. Money go into flame. What do you do? Okay? But then you say, Mr. Toad, the money, somebody took the money. I understand. What I'm trying for you to see, we're not going to get anywhere by yelling, shouting, screaming at each other. We're not going to get nowhere. Because this is a conversation that needs to be had. But it must be two-way conversation. If you engage, do it from facts. If you're engaged, be respectful. Don't agree. You can be disagreeing. That's fine. You can disagree with whoever it is. But do it with respect so that you will be able to understand the other person's argument. There are those among us that truly believe nothing happened to that money. What do you say to them? Do you discard their own argument? They are Liberians. They're also suffering. There are those among us who truly believe, and this is going to be my last call here, folks. Samson told Labrador Public Radio, what's your name and where you're calling from? What's on your mind?
Yes, I'm also raised up from North Carolina, USA.
Thank you. That will be my last caller. What's on your mind?
Yes, well, my mom, I know that you were sitting right in that chair there, I'm watching and I'm listening. Yeah, you see, like, man, the money and the rest, they say you don't play with it.
That me sitting in the chair. Oh, that me sitting in the chair.
Okay, but what you were saying now, that what I call,
okay,
you were saying that, and you know, and what boy will come to sing. That's why I call making it sing and it's in the face because we are suffering. So why you say that you will put it that way? Why you put it that way? We pray for success. We don't pray for bad things. That's why we pray, and the poor people and the church and the whosoever they constantly pray or help out. That's why it is sing.
Okay.
So why you want to say that? The way they want to just pray what you said, that we want to pray that the money will find it. Because when they have the government over there, what is doing to the people? What is security guard? What they were doing? The whole country coming in the country. What is central bank? What is finance minister? What is president? They know it for the money, man. I'm so mad for it when I think about it. I don't want nobody to say anything like that. We all up here, we're praying that things will work out with the people over there. One take already, I know $75 change. US. And all that continue, all that money, then they open the money, please fund. Now fund they playing that government. They say democratic change. Over will do that. Why you said that he was there in the country and I continue era? Why you say what they continue? Do you know?
All right, man. Okay. Thank you, my sister. Thank you very much. Again, this is Samson Toll. After having a beautiful, beautiful show, I don't know when to say when. I go put my phone in my mouth. No, but sister, I'm sorry. First of all, I ask you to be patient with all of us. I know it's very upsetting, but what good would it do us if your blood pressure starts going up like that? So I'm just asking you to please bear with us and bear with the government that everybody. Okay, she's calling back. I hope we can have a dialogue. Samson to Labrador Public Radio. Yeah, go ahead.
You call by himself.
Oh, yeah, you call her.
Yeah, then they try to say any past government. What I want to you now, you're not here for it like any government. Well, anyone tell you, she took the money, no protest, no demonstration, nothing, and she left. Why are you bringing any business inside the whole thing? If any know for the money, open know for the money, you got to open man. Okay. They don't walk after it and get the money, but they don't put any past government, any gone. Okay. And everybody start running any net. She pay hospital for something or someone. So why did they put protest down? They say sit and later on go before or whatsoever before they put any inside any gone.
Okay. All right. Thank you, man. Thank you, man. Other people calling. Thank you. Okay. Good evening, Samson to Labrador Public Radio. What's your name and where you're calling from? What's on your mind?
Yeah, I'm calling from South Carolina, Charleston. This is Dennis Moore.
Good evening, Mr. Secretary. Thank you very much for joining us. What's on your mind, sir?
Oh yeah, I'm really following your show. I want to say thank you for keeping us informed. I feel, a few questions. Probably might have some answer for it. The first thing I want to know, why Liberian people always demonstrating and going to U.S. Embassy? That'll be my first question. And my second question is, if we send container from USA and go over there, want some more OK inside, we always pay for it. Why would $16 billion, container loss from the port of Liberia? Nobody can account of it.
Okay. That's it?
So, yeah.
Okay, thank you.
And then I got some follow-up.
Okay, all right. I'll do my best. I'm not an expert in this area, but I'll do my best because it's a show, so we got to keep people going. The first thing is the reason why, and I'm speculating here. The reason why people demonstrate and go present their paper to the American embassy. Number one, America consider Liberia, at least we consider ourselves a step down America. So if anything happens, you want to go to your mom and pa to go complain. That's the first thing. Second thing is, before Charles Taylor was kicked out of Liberia, basically George Bush asked the people that Charles Taylor have to leave. That's it. So that's one reason. And another reason why the money got missing, other people say nothing happened to the money. So I can't say here and tell you say money missing, money not missing. I don't know for sure, my brother.
Okay, thank you so much. I think for me, this morning there's no real details in it. I don't have the facts, but I want to assume for the purpose of our country, public contribution, that if both government knows something about the money. That something happened in this morning. The first thing, when the previous government was leaving in power, if they are leaving, why they even have to pay money in the first place? That's question number one. Number two, the new government, cannot just have a big missing container and nobody know about it. Number three, why would the whole container be missing? Why not part of the container? If the container missing, they know the serial number of the container, what company ship the container, who signed for it, what carrier took the container from the port. So I really don't know the details about it. Do Liberian people want to tell us that the entire container is just disappear from the port and then nobody know about it? I heard that really happen. Did it get missing on the way coming to the central bank, or what's the details in it? And at in the same time, there are a lot of neo-Liberian notes floating on the market. So how did they get out? You know, there's some detail need to go. You know, a finance minister coming out, there's no continuum missing. A lot of people coming out, there's continuum missing, and just getting everybody confused.
Okay.
So I think people from the responsible government need to come up and let us know. They continue, we sign for it. It's a government property. Somebody got to sign for it. Somebody got to transport it. Where is it really got missing?
Okay. All right, I think those are all legitimate concern and legitimate questions, and I think the proper government people who are responsible would help us out here. But I think if you listen to the president, I think yesterday or day before yesterday, where he said we asked for all of us to be patient and that they will not leave no stone unturned. They, in other words, they will do everything possible to be sure most of the questions and concerns that people have answered. So let's wait and see, and that's the pleading that I'm pleading with all of us here, because it will do us no good to yell and scream and get angry and let our blood pressure go up and all the kinds of stuff. It's not going to help us. We're just going to get angry more, and the more you get angry, you can't communicate well. You're not thinking things through, and then you get into conflict with other people who perhaps might tell you something that might not satisfy you. So let us be patient and see how far we can go with this. Thank you, my brother. We appreciate your call.
Thank you.
Again, I believe Mr. So was calling me earlier. Mr. So, if you're still listening, give me a call. Samson told I need to get out of here to myself anyway, but give me a call. Mr. So, I'll wait for your call before I leave. I don't want to get fired here tonight. So give me a call, Samson told Liberian Public Radio. That would be Mr. So. Give me a call. In fact, let me do this. I'll give him a call. So, okay. Let's see. Samson too, I'm still on the line. Oh, we ain't hear no ringing to you. Okay. All right, maybe. Okay. All right. Okay. I hope he called me back. But anyway, folks, especially to my sister that spoke, the last sister that spoke, it wasn't meant to be funny. I'm not trying to poke fun of the money because okay, Mr. So is calling. Good evening, Mr. So. What's on your mind, sir?
The Liberal Progressive. Good evening. How are you tonight?
The woman, she clipped.
And I'm getting to off the troubled water right over here. After having a beautiful show, something. Come on, please. After having a beautiful show here tonight, and I'm just throwing the news, and everybody here is something. But your end point, you just personally kick the can down the road. Well, come on, please.
But I'm just being philosophical about. I'm just saying, what if that had happened?
Where is that if coming from today? This is where you and I all have issue, and I don't think you always learn from that. Well, why such a if? Why such a hypothetical that is not just particle is breaking that?
Basically, all I'm trying to say is that people should be calm.
You sound so ridiculous tonight, and that's why that woman really came at you. And I was coming to her. So please, well, on a serious note, I think you lay it out, and that's what we always try to do here from LPR. We try to put the issues. We are not the one to decide. And like you say, I think I listened to Minister Smith. These platforms are very, very, very much important. And people just don't know the strength, the power, because people are listening. And the way we curve, the way we prune things, it all helps to exacerbate and calm down things. But at the same time, we are under obligation to say the truth. And I think I like the way you call out Jefferson Kochi, Molba Mobu, and Akara's Gray. These people, they need to understand, and you agree with me. And I think Minister Smith pointed out here, from time to time, that has been the struggle of this administration. And even Helen Johnson said, there is no coherent message. You can't have multiple people to speak. Here you have Minister Tue, almost him to be like the powerful minister, almost like a prime minister. And when the Minister of Information, by virtue of his position, is the official spokesperson speaking, and then you're telling the world, not just only Liberia, you're telling the rest of the world, don't mind what he's saying. What is that? People will not take us serious. And I think that the president needs to step forward and put aside friendship or some sort of partisan line, whatever they are doing, to make them to understand and respect one another's position. Jefferson Koji does not have anything to do when it comes to people speaking on behalf of the government. That's not his place. And he, Molba Molu speaking, people also take that seriously, making a sort of ridiculous statement as party chairman, ruling party chairman. Come on.
Yeah.
So they are not helping the president. And some seditions they need to step up to the task. That when somebody is in a governing stage is different from being an opposition. They have to fine-tune their language at all times. And I think I listened how they break out there with the protester and the authority. You see how that went fine? But I guess if you put Jefferson Koji and Molba Molu there, that would have been a chaotic situation. What we are talking today, we might have been talking different things. And it was good that they were stay out of this. They stay out of it. Yeah. But I think they need to put their acts together, aim at all the mean well for this president to succeed. Thank you, but I think it was a beautiful show. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Mr. So. Appreciate it. All right, folks. This is Samson Toe, who's been here for a very long time now. I think I need to cut the show off. And let's do it again Wednesday. Mr. So will be on tomorrow. I'm sure he will give more. But once again, we just do these things here for our brothers and sisters to understand what is happening. Hopefully, we were able to provide some information to you. But the main thing here is, my concern is, these things have the tendency to get people sick to their stomach. And not only that, see, we Liberians were going through a lot. We're going through a lot. So when I made that statement earlier, it wasn't meant to be funny. But again, I apologize to the lady for taking it that way. But the intent was for us to find reason, to be philosophical about it, so that at least we can find reason to have a good night's sleep. Here's the reason here. And I'm sure I'm not the only person. I have a couple of messages here from my son. Okay? The month coming to end. He want money. And not only him, my other relatives, they want food. So if I'm over here stressing out about the $16 billion, there's nothing I can do right now except to look up to the government. But I'm stressing myself out and get sick. How do I go to work to even help to support my brothers and sisters back in Liberia? The money they said they don't have, they're crying about the $16 billion. And then on top of that, those of us that are supposed to help to relieve, forget it, the government probably don't recognize our effort. But I think we're doing them a favor a lot. But that's the point that I'm trying to make. So that we all can take a heart to say, you know, what if? To ease it out and don't get stressed out about it. The government Republic of Liberia will trust it. And even if you don't trust them now, look at it this way. You got, 5 more years or so to go? So by us sitting down here talking cross purpose, insulting each other, cussing this, saying this, getting your blood pressure going high and what have you, what good would it do you if you're sick? Not only will you not be able to come on my show to give a beautiful contribution, but how will you even help the people in Liberia for which you're angry about? And that's the point that I'm trying to make. It wasn't meant to be funny, but I want us to take precaution about our own health. We're not that young anymore either, some of us. The money, whether the money disappear or not, we're going to find the end result of this thing. But let's take it easy, please. Dr. Weir and his people will find means to give us the answer. So even if the money is gone, they will let us know. So I'm just asking all of you to please calm down and let's listen to Dr. Weir and his people and see how far they're going to go. Those that are on the other side thinking they're supporting Dr. Weah and saying this inflammatory statement, coming out with the incendiary statement to get you angry and what have you. They're not helping. And we know that. We recognize that. So let them do whatever they want to do. They want to sing, let them sing. But what good would it do us? They sing, we sing. They cuss, we cuss. What we're going to get out of it? Nothing. Your school, the children's school fee that you're crying about, they're not going to get paid if you cuss. You concentrate on helping your brothers and sisters as you continue to do. You did that during the war. The most hard-working person in the diaspora are Liberians. And the most handsome giver of any person that I know are Liberians. Liberian, the amount of money you give, day in, day out, war or no war, it's unbelievable. Some of you will work 24 hours and then go look at your own place you live in. You're working to support people back home. We're like captives. Some of you don't even sleep in your own bed. How much bill do you have in this country so much that you got to work 24 hours? Not that much. But because of your brothers and sisters back home, you work so hard. And then to have these kinds of stuff, the little money that's supposed to come and help you, help the people, somebody going to do this kind of. So I understand the frustration. But then what do? When you're frustrated, you pray. Number one. The second thing is you calm down. You be the big person in the room. That's the point that I'm making. This is Samson to LIBERIA Public Radio. It's been a wonderful, wonderful evening. I will say good night to all of you. Let's do it again Wednesday. I will bring us some more show. Hopefully, you will be able to get some a good understanding of it, because that's about all we can do. I'm going to say another ridiculous thing here. We went through the Civil War. We're still standing. That is $16 billion will make us die, will kill us. Thank you. The Liberians, you know where you come from? Look at you today. Look at you. Some of you didn't even think you were going to be here. You're here. PhD, WD, JWD, DD, whatever education you think about, most of you have them. But our brothers and sisters back home that are supposed to help us, help people to understand, they're not doing it. So I feel your frustration. But that's not the reason for you to get yourself sick. Samson too. LIBERIA Public Radio. Let me do this and say good night to all of you. It's been a wonderful, wonderful, wonderful evening. Let's do this together. Join me, Samson too. Yo, Jawai.
Yo,